Okay. There we go.
Can you put me in front of the screen?
Yes, so you're in the middle of the screen. So your audience is behind you.
See my better side.
So do you want to face your audience or do you want to face away?
I want to stay here.
Right. Okay. So your audience has been briefed on the fact that they are not to talk. Those that usually sit in the same seats have moved. So there's nobody really in a seat where we might recognise where they are.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, feel free to begin.
All right, okay. All right, okay. So as I become aware of the spirit world here, I know that I have a gentleman, I know it's father. I do believe I want to go straight behind me, so I know I'm in this area. I do feel I'm towards the back, but I also feel here with father as I start to work with him, there seems to be more than one problem with his health, and I know also there seems to be, how can I put this? I want to talk about either a problem around the heart, like angina, or just a condition. I'm no medical expert, I know there's a condition like that.
Does anybody understand that? So we have a number of hands, and Phil thinks he's here. So just in this area, can you put your hands up clearly so I can see? We have quite a number of hands.
Okay, but I also feel here with father that he would have been quite young when he passes. And when I say young, I'm getting in that age of like 50 to 60, something round there, just around that area.
Okay, we still have a number of hands.
Okay, that's fine. But I also know here, he wasn't a person that looked after himself. I know where it came to health conditions, he would have, let me put it, it's almost where I want to say, he would have kept symptoms to himself.
Does that make sense? So we have a number of hands.
Okay.
So we have 3 hands.
But I also feel that this father, this gentleman, he wouldn't have been a big talker. He feels quite quiet.
3 hands.
Okay, that's fine. But I also know here he would have liked to be outdoors, and he's that outdoor. He wants to be almost like where I would go for walks and everything else.
Hands, please. Does that make sense to anybody? You've lost them all.
Lost them all. Good. That's a good start. Because I know here. Bear with me 1 second. Thank you. I want to talk about where he would have lived, would have had the name of either to do with trees like Pine Place or Palm Place. It's just something to do with the name of the tree, the area or the road.
You have 3 hands.
3 hands, because I know here, but I also feel, in fact I want to come back a second to that, it's almost where I want to call it Pine View or Palm View. Would that make sense still?
No, we've lost
I lost
one.
them.
One.
Ah, that's where I want to be. You've got 1 left.
Yes.
Good, because I know here this is where I want to be. And if I'm right with father, on a 1-to-1, he would be more talkative and more engaging.
No.
Oh, because again, there's just this sense here of him being more comfortable in less people.
No. We have another hand for that, but does the pine or the palm view not make sense, or the tree road? Does make sense.
Does everything make sense? Does everything make sense to that person?
Everything doesn't make sense. When you changed tree to pine, it didn't make sense.
Tree to pine.
But the personality of the dad does.
Right. Then I'm confused here. Would there be a place where I said pine, if it's not pine, but it was something to do with trees where he lived?
Yes.
That's fine, that's where I want to be. Then I've got wrong with my direction, and the personality fits as well.
Yes.
Good. And again, it just feels where Dad would be more confident just on a 1-on-1.
Yes.
And again, it's almost where I would come alive and I'd be more vocal as well.
Not sure.
Not sure. Because it just feels on that 1-on-1 situation, it would be more comfortable.
Yes.
Good. As well. But again, it's almost where his face would light up when they saw the recipient as well.
Not sure.
Not sure, because I know it's just as he comes through, it just feels where things were quite frustrating for a period of time for him as well.
Yes.
Because I know here when the recipient came to visit, I know the eyes would light up, and I know it's just that sense I have with him as well. But I also feel here that the recipient is still talking to the Father in the spirit world.
Yes.
Because I know here there's a sentiment where the person has asked them to come.
Yes.
And again, there's real need to know how they are in the spirit world as well.
Yes.
Again here. But again, it's almost that sense of belonging and just being together and having those memories that's really important.
Yes.
And again, it's that sense of being that person, not just personality, but the personal touch and care that's really important as well.
Yes.
And again here, the recipient must have been looking through photographs quite recently as well.
Yes.
And I know some of the photographs they have would have been old black and white ones.
Yes.
And again, I want to go back where they would have been down in their youth as well.
Dad's youth or
Dad's youth.
Dad's youth. You've got pictures of your dad in his youth? No.
Oh, then if I'm wrong with Dad's youth, it must be the recipient's youth as well, memories from there.
Yes.
Because I know here I can't change it too much as well. But would I be right in saying that Dad held a job where he held authority as well?
So.
Because I know here it feels like I'm in charge of things, planning things, and organising things as well.
Yes.
Because I know it's just that feeling of authority and wanting to do it. And I actually would feel they would take pride and almost work long hours as well.
Yes.
And again, it's that sense of working long hours where it almost feels where I was self-employed at one time.
No.
No. But I know here he would have taken his job really seriously.
Yes.
Because again, it's the time and effort, and that's why I thought I made the mistake of own business, because I'm putting that long hours in.
Okay.
That's fine as well. But I know the reason why Father has come is to bring that support at the moment and upliftment for the recipient.
Yes.
And again, it's almost like where they've been questioning where they're going in their future as well.
Yes.
And again, I know the person I'm speaking to should be very aware of the spirit world.
Yes.
And again, a sense of wanting to work for the spirit world as well.
Yes.
Because again here, just as a connect, it feels like they've been asking Father if they can see clearly, hear clearly, and sense clearly as well.
Yes.
And I know the person that I want to be talking to is looking for a home or a place of belonging where the mediumship belongs.
Yes.
And again, I also feel here, thank you. And would I be right in saying they'd live to the let me get my directions right, to the east coast somewhere, that
Yes.
side. And again, I want to be in the top of the States. Would that make sense?
Yes.
And it feels like I'm near the border of Canada as well.
No.
No, okay, because it just feels for some reason I'm further up that way and my mind went that way as well. But I know here Dad's around. And one last thing, the recipient must have cards as well as the photograph from Dad.
We're thinking.
We're thinking.
Not sure.
Not sure. I don't believe them. Because I know here there seems to be this sense of where we've got old memorabilia and we've also got paperwork as well.
Yes.
That's because that's what I want as well, you see. So I'm going to leave Dad's love with them and say thank you very, very much for allowing me to do that.
Good.
Okay, good? Okay.
Right.
All right. Can I have a drink of water, please? Is there any water?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you. This
Lids
is
off.
lids off.
Should have said it wasn't off, eh?
You're a horrible lot. There we go. Good. Here. I'm going to try my direction again. I want to actually, thank you. I want to actually come towards the front to this side here, and I want Mum in the spirit world, but I do believe I'm towards the middle of the front row. But I
Mum
also
in the spirit world and the middle of the front row.
I do have.
Okay, but would I be right in saying that Mum was a very sentimental lady?
No.
No, that's fine. Because
we do have other people in the front row that understand that.
Ah, that's good. But I also know here with Mother, birthday cards, anniversary cards and things like that will be very, very important to Mum.
Yes.
And I also believe it's not just the card, it's the actual words, and she would have made a fuss over the words, oh, it's beautiful and everything else.
Yes.
But I also feel here the recipient would do the same thing and keep the cards.
Yes.
And I also believe here that the recipient will still have cards from the mother.
We're on the front row, yes.
Good, because again here, but I want to say she keeps them with her own cards as well.
Yes.
And that should be with a woman.
Yes.
Good, because I know here it's the similarity mother like daughter, daughter like mother. But again here I feel that mother, as she comes forward, there's a real gentleness with her as well. And it's this sense of family was a huge thing to her.
Yes.
And again, it's almost where I want to cause, excuse me, I'm going to cough. I'll come back to that in a second. But again, it feels here where family was really important, and again, where birthdays and things were concerned, she has to make a fuss.
Yes.
But when it comes to her birthday, it's almost like I want to accept it, but I don't want my age and everything else.
Yes.
And again, it just feels here where they would have looked after their mother just shortly before she passed.
Yes.
And again, when I say looked after, it feels like I would have cared for her and everything else.
Yes.
And again, it feels with mother that she wasn't able to speak shortly before she passed as well.
Yes.
And again, she would have sat nursing her, but I know she had her quiet moments sitting, holding her hand as well.
No.
Oh, bear with me 1 second. Then if I'm wrong with that, she must have gone to see Mum after she passed as well.
No.
Oh. Bear with me. Would I be right in saying the mother would have gone to hospital shortly before?
Yes.
And would I be right in saying the recipient visited as well?
No.
Ah. Then I'm just going to hold this thought just for a second, this feeling. Would I be right in saying the recipient has a deep regret of not being there?
Do you have a deep regret that you weren't with her? Yes or no? Yes.
Good, because not good that she's got the regret, but I know right, because it just feels here, because I need to look at this in a different way. It's almost like mother would do whatever she could to nurture and take her through life wherever possible.
Yes.
Because I know the image that I see, I can't take away the holding of hands, but I have to reevaluate it, I have to feel it, and I know it's about nurturing them through their life. And I know they would have liked to have that one last conversation with them as well.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying that she has mother's jewellery with her as well?
Yes.
And when I say jewellery, I want to talk about rings here.
Yes.
And again, she would have worn them or still wears them now.
Correct.
Because again, I just feel the rings on my fingers and I know we still have them. But there's a sense here as well where mother would have liked music.
Yes.
And again, she would have memories when she was younger of mum dancing.
Yes.
And again, I feel where we would have danced was in the house with the music playing as well.
Yes.
And again, there should be memories here of like the Beach Boys and everything else.
Yes.
Because again, and was the bit, okay, it's a different group, and the Eagles as well. I've got that type of music.
No.
Oh, because I know here it's just that I'm not the best with music, but I know it's that melody, it's that sort of tune of the Beach Boys and everything as well here. Okay. Thank you. And would it be right in saying the recipient would understand a young boy in the spirit world as well, please?
Yes.
And again, and where the young boy passed would have been in tragic circumstances.
Yes.
And again, it feels very quick how they would have passed.
Yes.
And again, there's a sense of really still grief where that boy is concerned.
Yes.
And again, I want to talk about a son in the spirit world.
No.
Okay, but they would have known them and been very close to them.
Correct.
Because again, it feels like that son or that kind of relationship where we were looked after as well. And again, it feels where we would have seen him shortly before this happened.
Yes.
Because again, it just feels the lasting memories was laughing and joking and almost like interacting and tickling and make a fuss of him as well. And again, this is the memories of the young boy with the recipient.
Yes.
Because again, it's just a fun element I want to get in, but it feels like that the person I'm speaking to, the recipient, would have been talking to this young boy recently or in the thoughts.
Yes.
And again, it's almost like I wonder where you are and what you're doing.
Yes.
And again, and if I said the young boy could be quite cheeky.
Yes.
Because he just said better than you. So again, it's just that sense of personality as well. But would I be right in saying the recipient is a big believer in healing as well?
Yes.
Because it feels where they're involved in that healing and sending that absent healing as well.
Yes.
And again, I'm not just saying that they are a healer, but I know there's that mediumistic ability there as well.
Yes.
And again, it just feels where that's concerned, they're wanting to progress the healing into almost altered states as well.
Yes.
Because I know the young boy is playing with my mind, and I know the mother is putting that overshadowment with there just to say we acknowledge your need and want from the spirit world.
Okay.
That's fine. And would I be right in saying that they have their mother's death certificate as well?
Yes.
But I also feel that they have other paperwork like letters as well.
Yes.
And I know they read them through now and again.
Yes.
And again, within one of the letters, it was addressed to the recipient, almost where I want to say Mum was explaining how she felt about them.
Yes.
Because I know here the mother's love's within that letter, and I want to reread it again to feel that passion and love with her.
Yes.
Good. So can I leave mother's love and this young boy's love with them?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Can you pick somebody, please?
Okay, just let you know we're near at the half-hour mark.
Okay, I'll do it very, very quickly then.
Okay. Let's see. Could I pick you? Okay. So when Phil speaks, it will be to you.
So,
I'm going.
yep, okay, you're going to look for the colours.
Yep. I'm going to give you the blues,
What other
the
colours are there?
yellows, and the purple.
Okay. All right, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Kerry's colours, so if it goes wrong, it's her fault. Bear with me 1 second. That's fine. As I'm just asking the spirit world, would it be right in saying the person you've chosen is quite intellectual?
Yes.
And if I said where it's intellectual, they like to do their own research, they like to work things out themselves, and they like to take notice of things.
Yes.
And if I said they didn't like to be told anything what to do,
Yes.
and they have quite an adverse effect to that as well.
You have quite an adverse effect being told what to do. You don't like it. Kind of.
Yeah, but I also know here, and again, they must be very sensitive to the spirit world as well.
Yes.
And I want to say they're quite interested in the altered state, the trance.
Kind of.
Okay, kind of. That's a yes then. So again, here, what was the other colours, by the way?
It was the blue, the green, and the purple.
Okay, but I also know that they're very passionate about the work they do as well.
Yes.
And again here, it's not just passionate about the work, that intention and integrity is really important within every action they do in life.
Yes.
And again here, they like to people watch as well.
Yes.
And it also feels here where they have a really deep side to them. They like to philosophize, but internally.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the other colour?
Purple.
Purple. And again, they must... thank you. There must be a form of clairvoyance with them that's almost like a thought form. So they don't see clearly. It's like a thought impression.
No.
Sure? Don't believe them, bear with me. Because I know here, it's just this impression that I get.
There's a maybe in there.
Yeah, I know there's a maybe, I know I'm not wrong. Because I know, let's have a look here. But I know they've been looking not just about the mediumship and healing and different things there. I know they're looking almost like for a deeper sense and purpose of their ability.
Yes.
Because I know here it's just where the level they're at, there seems to be this issue about wanting more from the spirit world.
Yes.
That's fine. And one last thing here, they must be aware where they're, how can I put this? They must like different cultures within life as well.
Not sure.
Because it's almost like the old-fashioned cultures and different things, etiquette.
Oh, yes.
Yep, I know I'm right. Because I know here, it's just the impressions of the colour upon my soul, and I know it's just as the spirit will push that forward, okay? Can I just hazard a guess? The person I'm speaking, well, not a guess, but it's just a feeling, would they have ever run their own business as well? Yes or no?
No.
No. But they must have had thoughts and wanting to.
Yes.
Because I know here with one of the colours, just as it impressed me, I was taken to employment and different things here. So I'm going to leave that with them and say thank you as well. Okay? Because we're at that halfway mark, aren't we?
Yep.
Good. Right, we're all right to stop?
Yes.
Good. Can I take my blindfold off?
Yes.
Dare I? Oh, well.
Just watch your back. Watch your feet.
Who was I with?
Your first contact was Brandon.
Okay.
Your second contact was
Mary.
And your third contact was Sherry.
Oh, okay, good. Just don't talk to me. There you go. So, right. Are you going to go through there now? Mm-hmm. Do you want to take that and take Michelle with you? Did you?
I'll need some time first.
Yeah, no. Did Michelle explained that the blindfold had been tested, that you checked it, and David, you checked it as well. So everything you witnessed there, we had to go through the clairsentience and build the power up. So everything that we've taught you over the last couple of days about building things up and feeling is really important. Because as we build things up and work through it, it builds the strength up and it builds everything up. See, even when she's blindfolded, she's still bossy. Okay, that's good.
She's been bossy.
So I'll tell you what we're going to do.
There.
Could you change seats, please, once again? Did I stay still? Yeah, I usually dance round and then... Good. See, we like to do this now and again because it spices things up, and it's the way we were trained. So in other words, it's good to go back over things and trust everything. And the bit that I do enjoy is working with the colour, because it's Kerry who gets the colours. I have to say to the spirit world, I know my meaning, but I have to know Kerry's meaning, okay? And that's the thing, because if I go in, I'll get different colours. So it's looking at it. But again, we use that facility of the soul, which we showed you earlier on, to find out the main colours of it. Stephanie, could you check if she's ready? Just don't shout, just have a look round. If she's stood up and talking, she's ready. Any questions?
Can I share two amazing feedback to you?
Yeah, of course you can.
You said several times that I have letters from
Yes.
my mom. I only found them about a week ago,
Ah, good.
and she died when I was 14, 15 years old. I didn't even know I owned them. So I've been shocked, and the specific words to me that I didn't even know I owned them.
No.
Yeah, because I know they're important. I couldn't express the love enough. But in some demonstrations, so do you want to bring some demonstrations years ago, quite shocking because we brought people through and they've not even known they passed. And I always remember one, and I said, I know I've got I think it was a sister, I know you've left her in the hospital to be here, and I just said, I don't know why you've done that, and I cracked a joke and I felt really horrible because I just said, I've got your sister here. So again, and she went on a phone and there was a message from the hospital and all the rest of it, so it happens. But it's about that authenticity and intention, because when we work like that, we have to trust every ability we've got. Whether it is working with the spirit world, whether it is working with the colours, and trusting what we get. And this is the hardest thing about mediumship, because when we stand in front of you with our eyes open, you can do all kinds of things. That's why we look away and everything else. But to work blindly, you've got to trust your ability. Did you say she's ready? Do you want to bring her
Dalek
through?
Bonnie.
Grab the
She,
phone.
typical, she'll come out bang on 5:30. Okay. But again, I like to be tested, I like to be put through that, and the last demonstration I did, they didn't even have anyone speaking, so I didn't know if anyone was there, and all they did is hold a placard up, yes and no, and the professor was writing it all down. But each contact that I did, after the first one started with a number, and I said, I don't know why, it's like playing spirit bingo. And I said, but I've got number 16, and I know I'm over here, and the contact went, then I was over there with another number. And I found out at the end, the experiment wasn't about the contact, it was about the numbers that came through, and if the spirit world would do the same sequence of numbers as they printed out in the university in Southampton. So again, it shows the intelligence, okay?
There's a cord on the ground.
Is there what on the ground?
There's a cord on to
It's
the
the
left.
cords behind you slightly. So do you want to walk forward? Or do you want to reach your hand out and you've got so you know where you are?
Okay. Talk to the wall.
Yep, talk to the wall. That's like talking to me. So, we've moved everybody round.
Good.
Are you comfortable?
Not really. My mascara will get all smudged.
Good. Did I tell you that no, I didn't have a sniffle, that's fine. So again, when you're ready, you can begin and I'll be the voice of the person.
Okay. Oh. Right, as I begin here, you're going to keep me facing this way so I don't end up doing all this. Okay. As I begin here, I know I've got a young boy with me, but I know that this young boy passes, it's not natural passing, and I actually feel back there.
Okay. So a young boy in an unnatural passing and you feel directly behind. Does this make sense? Just here. Okay, so we've got two hands up.
Okay. If I were to say that there would have been, it's accidental passing.
Okay, so it's still two hands up.
Okay. If I were to say that there was water involved.
Water involved, no hands.
Okay.
Oh, no, somebody else has put the hand up in a different area.
Is it over here?
Yes.
Okay. That would make sense because I felt a pull there. Okay. So would this, I need this to be sun though.
Son. It was your son. No. So it was a young boy that passed and there was water involved. And it was your son, she's saying. Yes.
So my direction's off, am I still this way?
It's still this side.
Okay, would I be able to say that with this passing, I want to be saying that this was not an older young boy, this is a young boy, as in teens or pre-teens, a little boy.
Yes.
Because I get a real sense of there being a fun-loving personality here, but I want, does that make sense?
Bear with me 1 second. Yes, she said in his teens, he's younger. Yeah, it's just... Yeah,
Am I
that's
speaking
right.
too fast?
No, you're all right. It's misunderstood over here. You're correct. You said in the teens later. Yeah, it's fine.
Because I know, and there must have been some question over what happened with this young boy's passing as well,
Yes.
how it occurred. Because I know that on the DEM we had some sort of misdemeanour, but I almost feel the same here.
Misdemeanour, so it wasn't purposeful. Yep, that's right.
Because I also know that where your son was passing, there would have been other people that would have tried to work on him after
Yes,
the
that's
accident,
correct.
because it gives me this feeling of my soul had already left.
Yep.
And I want to say too that there would have been he's very excitable. He doesn't want to really concentrate very much more on the accident, but he
Correct.
knows he has something more to say about it, but he doesn't want to go there just now. I know that with his personality, I know he would have had a great deal of interest in music, but it's music that's quite noisy.
Music that's noisy.
It's
Not sure.
If I were to say that when he played his music, it is, there is a sense of it being quite distracting in the sense,
Yes, that's correct.
because it doesn't feel like the sort of music that I would find pleasant to listen to, because he's teasing his mum
Yes, that's
over
correct.
mum shouting about putting the music down.
Yes.
I also know that in the house that he lived, there would have been, just as he came outside his room, he would have turned left to head towards the living area of the house.
Could you repeat that, please?
When he came out of his bedroom, he would have turned left to head towards the main living area within the house.
Yes, that's correct.
Because he gives me the sense of coming out and shouting for mum. I know that mum would have brought some food into his room. I know that mum
Yes.
pandered to him.
Yes.
Because he knows how lucky he was. I also get a sense that he could wind his mum round his little finger.
You could wind you round your little finger. Yes, that's correct.
Because I know she's cooking all sorts of stuff. And I know too that you put up with some of his friends coming round as well, where
Correct.
the house was just taken over.
Correct.
Because she's given me the impression of mum goes there and I've just kind of got everywhere. But he's bringing memories to, he didn't often snuggle up when he was that bit older, but he's given me the impression of there being a very recent, very recently before he passed, there would have been a time where he was watching a film with you, jointly watching a film in the living area or the lounge, or
Not sure.
because he shows me that there is this time where he nearly actually said what he was feeling. We're not sure, are we?
Not sure, no.
Silence says it all. If I were to say that he wasn't very clear with his emotions,
Yes, that's correct.
and I want to be saying that he showed his emotions by being close to his mum.
Yes.
And he showed his emotions by being close in distance, but not necessarily with showing it.
Yep.
And that's, if I've got the wrong thing with the programme here. He had a television in his room though,
Yes.
because I know that he actually went through, just before he passed, I know he passed in accidental circumstances, but I know there would have been a time just before his passing where he actually didn't speak, and I believe I'm with mum, is that right?
Yes.
That he didn't talk to mum, he just kind of went a little bit quiet within himself.
Yes.
Because it gives me the impression of, I'm in my room, I'm bolting the door, I've got the telly on, I've got my headphones on, and he's in his own little world.
Yes, that's correct.
I know too that I'm very intelligent, so your son was very clever, but he played it down.
He was intelligent, but he played it down. Yes.
And I know too that after his passing, there has been something done in order to make the area or wherever he passed a bit safer, because I know there has been changes made.
Yes.
And he says, it's not that my passing went to waste, because he's actually talking about, he's bringing into my mind words that Nick kindly offered earlier on about when it's the soul's time, it's the soul's time. But he also gives me the impression that his death wasn't wasted, because there has been changes made. In fact, there's been 2 changes made following his passing.
Do you understand that? Yes.
And he is quite, and his passing made the news as well, the paper,
Yes.
because he's saying he got his 5 minutes of fame. So he's bringing that kind of sense of humour. And I know the way he walked, he would have been quite, we would say lanky in Britain. He's
Yes.
kind of, he's got that demeanour about him, but he is as soft as cotton candy.
Yes. Good.
Can I say then that in relation to his passing, we know that there's a lot of grief, but in relation to his passing, there's something that needs to be cut and let go of, because there's no need to hold on to what happened.
Yes.
And he's adamant about it. And he's also said, I've learned to swim better. But that's a sense of humour.
Yes.
Because I know there was a question over, but he could swim. But he could swim. But has a sense of humour about wanting, and he's wanting to mention that okay, because you understand your son in the way that I've given him here, he can now go to what he's able to express, and that's that. He's actually quoting Scott, that is it oodles and poodles?
Toodles and poodles.
But he's saying oodles and poodles of love. And the picture that you picked up before you came here and you kissed, he was there with you when you did that. You either kissed it or you touched it.
Yes, that's correct.
And he's saying, I was there, do not ever think I'm away, let go of the pain, allow me to come in a different way.
Yes.
I'm going to leave his love with you. Thank you very much.
Good. Done.
Right, I believe I have Dad with me. Oh,
Don't just. I'm going to straighten you up. Going to straighten you? No.
just felt suddenly very dizzy there. I feel I've got Dad with me. I do feel I'm on this side of the room, but then who knows? Again. Can I say, I feel like I'm towards the end, towards the door. Whatever, I've got Dad in the spirit world. I feel that there's an illness below the waist, but I actually feel that there was complications with some form of operation.
One person.
And it's up there.
Yes.
Because I feel like kind of, I don't speak about what's happening, but there's complications going on here.
Yes.
And I know too that as he does that, I know that post-operation, that there would have been time before the operation and him passing.
No, not understanding.
If that's so, after the complications with the operation, can I say this a different way then? There must have been 2 operations.
No.
One, because I've got an operation and then a period of time of where I never really recovered. Not understood.
There's one, it's the person's nodding, but somebody behind has also put their hand up.
Okay. So Dad had complications post-operation that he never fully recovered from, and it's that took him, but not immediately.
Yes, 2 are saying yes.
Okay. And I want it below the waist. I want it in the
saying
lower
yes.
body.
One saying yes, one saying no.
Okay. I want to be saying too that there was, would they understand the 2 operations or the 2 different procedures.
They would.
Because I know that there's one here and then it went in there. I know that Dad would have been a little bit confused, but I actually feel it is drug induced, that I'm just not really got my full consciousness back.
Not sure about that.
Because I get the sense that Dad is he's a little bit confused about what's happened, and that's not making sense, is it? Because it doesn't feel right, does it?
Yes, no.
Let me work with this then.
There's also one other person in a different area that understands everything.
They would need to understand everything,
They
though.
understand everything, yes.
Because something there doesn't feel right. So they understand the lower body, they understand the 2 operations, they understand the complications, they understand the convalescing, but then passing.
Yes, they do.
Would they also understand that Dad would have had almost a drug-induced, not able to concentrate? Because I'm drugged. I feel like I'm drugged.
The one near the door is saying no, but the other person in the room is saying yes.
Okay. Because I know that as I work with Dad here, there is under pain medication, and it makes me groggy, it makes me a little bit not able to focus properly, because I know Dad's mind would normally be pretty sharp.
Yes.
And I know as Dad works with me here that he actually knew his mind was fuddled, and he was a little bit upset and a bit frustrated with that.
Yes.
And as Dad talks me through here, because I can hear his voice, he must have had quite a strong accent, because I can feel quite a strong accent here.
I'm going to say no.
Would they understand Dad having a low voice then?
Yes.
Okay, because I can feel it in my vocal cords, that low voice here. I can also feel the sense of humour coming in now, because I know he's a little bit of a character.
Yes.
And I know that as he comes in here, he's there's a daddy dance or something going on here, because I know there would have been this light-heartedness with him.
Yes, that's correct.
And I know this followed him through his illness as well.
Yes.
I know that as he became ill, there's somebody else in the family that was unwell at the same time.
Yes.
Because he says he spoke about not wanting too much attention, because he knows that this person also was struggling.
Correct.
And I know with this person, I know that there is still, he wants to let, he's just got so much emotion going on here. Okay. I know he wants to acknowledge not only was somebody else unwell at that time, but I want to be saying, if this person isn't that person, then this person was not themselves when Dad was unwell too.
Does that make sense? Not understanding.
Because he wants to acknowledge that you were out of sorts at the same time.
So you were out of sorts at the same time.
Because he's protecting you.
No.
No. Because I get a sense that as he becomes ill, he's protecting somebody else from the full impact of what's happening with him.
Yes.
Okay. Pushed that bit too far. So I know that Dad wants to acknowledge, he needs to talk about, as he was, in that period of time between the operation and him passing, he gives me the impression there was a question over the treatment or the medicines or the nurses, and he's saying there was nothing more could be done.
Correct.
It's exactly as it was meant to be. It's just that people were looking to apportion responsibility.
Yes.
But it was exactly as it was meant to be, unfortunately.
Okay.
I know that Dad's sending love. I know that Dad wants to do a little bit of rustle with the hair here and a tugging of the hair as well. I know that this person has felt Dad, and I know that this person has felt Dad this morning put a hand on their shoulder.
You understand? Nope.
Because I get the sense that this person senses, I know you're saying no, but I'm very clearly feeling Dad coming close.
Yes.
And I want to be saying that you sense when Dad is close.
Yes.
When you sense Dad is close, please know he has his spirit hand on your shoulder.
Okay.
Right now you need that hand on your shoulder because he's offering you, he's not guiding you or telling you, he's supporting you and just giving you a bit of direction because you're needing a little bit of direction at the moment.
Yes. Okay.
Know that Dad's with you and that he can eat now.
Makes sense? Yes, it does.
Okay, because he's eating all sorts, like mega food, ultra mega food.
Good. I'm going to ask you
Okay.
to take a step backwards.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, that's it, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, how am I for time?
You've got 10 minutes left.
Hi.
So do you want me to pick a person? Do you want
I
me to
would like you to pick a person. Pick a nice person.
A nice person. Oh, let's have a look. 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 So I'm going to pick somebody. Okay, I picked them. Right, what do you want me to do? Colours?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. We have a red, we have blue, and we have green. So that's red, blue, and green in that order.
Okay. Okay, so as I work with the red, I know that this is fundamentally part of this person's soul. I know that this belongs within the soul. It's not transient and it's not building up. It is already there. And I know that this relates to their spiritual quality.
Yes?
Am I speaking jargon? Do I need to make
No,
it
no,
less?
absolutely not.
Because I know as I work with the red here and feel the essence within my soul, I feel that there is a strong presence of the spirit world here.
Yes?
And I know that this person must find it fairly easy to move into that. You've not picked Scott, have you?
No?
No. Must find it quite easy to move into that altered state.
Yes?
Because I feel within my soul that there's a natural ability to shift into that place where the spirit, there's almost at times where this person must feel like the spirit world and them are in the same space.
Correct.
And I want to be saying too that they must be at the moment working in a way that allows them to be within the presence of the spirit world much more.
Yes?
Because I know there's been changes in this person's life that has allowed this to take place.
Correct.
However, when those changes took place, would the person understand that there was an element of real uneasiness and worry about, oh my goodness, what does this mean,
Yes.
and where am I going and how is it
Correct.
going, blah, 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 blah. And I know that they're beginning to see that sense of what that was all about.
Yes?
I know too there's a real unsettledness with this person too.
That's correct.
I'm feeling very, very unsettled. And I know you worked with Brandon here about that needing a home, but it feels like the searching, the feeling that bit lost.
That's correct.
But I know within the red, what was the other colour you gave me?
Blue and green.
Because I know the red moves into the blue, and as that red and the blue come in, I know where red and blue cover, there is that purple comes in, but I know that that's the spirit world moving into that mediumistic quality.
Yes?
Because with the mediumship, this person must have been in complete denial for a long time.
Don't understand that.
Because really, because I want to be saying with the blue, they have questioned about what the spirit world want to do with them, and I'm not a medium, and
Yes.
I'm not right, because I feel that that's where this denial comes in, and the spirit world have actually, if I went back 12 months ago, there was a huge change
Not sure.
that allowed what is happening now to happen. So 12 months ago, there was a letting go and a shift.
Yes.
because that's the spirit world's way of acknowledging what's happened, because the 12 months has been a huge learning curve.
Maybe.
If I were to say that with that, where they are just now, that they're, because I feel this blue and I know that, and there's talking here as well, so I know the communication, the being able to talk in public, or the being able to,
Yes.
I actually want to be saying teaching as well.
Yes.
Because I know that with this, okay, this person knows their team as well.
Yes.
Is familiar with their team, because I know that as their team comes in, I feel them all here, and I know the reason that there is a sense of not having direction is because it is that something came up yesterday. Not yet.
Yes.
Those words, not
understand it.
yet. And I know when that not yet comes in, it really needs for the person to pause, not because they need to develop anymore, but because the people are not in situ yet. That synchronistic happenings are not all in place.
Correct.
And Adam, did you give me the green?
I did.
Because I want to be saying, I know that green would normally mean something else for me, but I actually need to go to healing here.
Correct.
And where the healing comes in, there's such a shift within the healing taking place here.
Correct.
But the healing is so present and part of who this person is.
Yes.
That it's almost indecipherable between the healing and the person.
Yes.
Because they are intrinsically a healer.
Yes.
And I know that there has been a change in terms of the healing capacity of this person. And I don't want to say that the guides have changed. The team has upped the ante.
Yes.
And that shift has happened to an extent where people are beginning to take notice.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. We've got 4 minutes left.
Can I say then that from the spirit world, I know that we're blending the psychic and the spirit mediumistic faculties here, but from the spirit world, an enormous thank you for standing true to who you are and not bending to popularity. It's very, very important. The integrity is vitally important, because in the next little while, it's going to be even more important.
Good.
Speak the truth, have the integrity.
Good.
Am I done?
You're done.
Oh, bright light! Was it the gremlins or the bright light?
So, could the people that got the contacts put their hands up, please?
Oh my goodness, all in a row.
All in one row. That's good. But it shows the intelligence of the information where it'll get to one person, but it also proves something really, really important, and you must hear this. You do not need the recipient's voice. All you need is to blend with the spirit world. As long as you're feeling, as long as you're in that power, the spirit world will do their job to get to you. That's why it's so important you follow it, because the contact must go to the right person.
Yeah.
And just to let you in a little bit of a secret, we said before the demonstration, we mustn't pick any of the tutors. So when it came to picking the person at the end, I thought, I'm going to throw you off and go for a tutor.
Oh, was that Nick?
Yes.
I actually felt, that's why I said Scott, because I felt Scott. That would make sense then.
Yeah.
But Scott's within.
Yeah. But the thing is, and you mentioned intention with Nick, we have to stay with our intention, with our integrity. We have to be true to the spirit world, true to the information that comes. And even if we get a no, we don't let go of it. We keep on working it. We keep on going for it, sort of thing, because we know there's something there. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to say?
Any questions?
Yes.
It's fabulous.
You enjoy it? How hard is it to stay quiet?
As we said at the beginning, not very many mediums will stand up and do this in public. because it really relies on communication with the spirit world instead of cold reading or reading faces or with words. The voice from you keeps everybody else engaged. So if somebody's there and they're not speaking, you get bored. So the voice is to keep everybody else engaged, and it kind of keeps things flowing and makes it more of an evening when we're all saying yes and no. But having the voice isn't necessarily still protecting me.
No, blindfold on.
But it really is, we're open to experiments, and mediums should be open to being in experimental situations, because without that, we need to prove the spirit world is there. And when there's any question, any medium should be open to being scientifically, as we did this evening, scientifically experimented on. That sounds a bit...
It's good, but there are plenty of experiments we can do. This is just a few. We've run out of time. We were going to double them, so in other words, both of us work with the same person in the spirit world to the same recipient. We can work with raffle tickets, blindfolded, put a hand in there and basically hold the raffle ticket and get the communicator, and we'll talk and we'll go, then we'll say the person we need to be speaking to is this number. Okay, so there's lots of things we can do, and these things are planned for the future, because I know Sandra likes them. So, Mary.
For the group's sake and as feedback to both of you, if I can just say one more thing, but you were so accurate, but because I couldn't give voice to it, when my mom was dying in the hospital, I was not allowed to go see her. Everyone said, you don't want to remember her like that, and I begged my family, please let me go. They wouldn't, and so I pictured myself there with her, like you saw. As a child, I pictured myself with her, and I would make cards for her that they took every day.
But
so you were right, but I couldn't explain it.
But that's now a quick thought or a conception I couldn't think of. So now when I get a situation like that again, I learn from it and it's in there. Yeah, good.
So whenever you go to a dem in the future with any mediums, please only say yes or no. Don't say, I can understand some of it, but some of it, well, I was there, because make your mediums prove to you that your loved ones are there. That's what your loved ones want. It's about evidential mediumship. It's not about making the medium feel good. It's about getting the contact to the correct person.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.